While many people have never heard of prediabetes before, the condition impacts a whopping 96 million Americans. Prediabetes is a condition in which blood sugars are higher than normal, but not high enough to be classified as type 2 diabetes. But it still is serious and can lead to type 2 diabetes. A recent new study suggests that taking vitamin D supplements can help prevent people with prediabetes from developing type 2 diabetes. For the study, researchers analyzed 3 clinical trials that studied the impact of vitamin D supplementation on type 2 diabetes risks. The researchers found that during a 3-year follow-up, 22.7% of participants who took vitamin D developed type 2 diabetes, while 25% of those who took a placebo ended up progressing to the type of diabetes. While that does not sound like a huge difference, the researchers then applied those numbers to the 374 million adults across the world with prediabetes. It determined that taking the supplement may delay the development of diabetes in more than 10 million people. Their conclusion was simple. In adults with prediabetes, vitamin D was effective in decreasing the risk for diabetes. So this isn't the first time vitamin D has been linked to a reduced risk of developing diabetes. So let's go over several ways that vitamin D can help you. But first, please remember to subscribe to my channel. It really helps me make more videos just like this. Well, vitamin D is a fat-soluble vitamin. According to the National Institutes of Health, it helps promote the absorption of calcium in your gut. Without vitamin D, your bones can become thin and brittle. Vitamin D can also reduce inflammation and helps modulate cell growth, immune function, and glucose metabolism. Vitamin D is naturally present in some foods, like the flesh of fatty fish, mushrooms, and fortified milk and cereal. But it's also produced by the body when your skin is exposed to UV rays. It is pretty well established that there does seem to be a connection between vitamin D status and diabetes risks. The exact reason why this link exists is not entirely clear, but there are some possibilities. One is that vitamin D impacts glycemic control, which is trying to keep your blood sugar levels under a certain number. Vitamin D is also something called a prohormone, which is a substance that the body converts into a hormone. Hormones are tied to endocrine function and diabetes, and having healthy levels of the prohormone vitamin D can help regulate other hormones in the body, thus promoting efficient function of normal body processes. Research has also linked vitamin D to a lower risk of insulin resistance, which is when the body is unable to respond to or use insulin. Insulin is a hormone that helps bring glucose, also known as sugar, to your cells, where it's used for energy. According to the Cleveland Clinic, insulin resistance can lead to prediabetes and then type 2 diabetes. A study found that the risk of developing insulin resistance went down in people who took vitamin D, with the researchers theorizing that the supplement helps lower the risk due to vitamin D's ability to lower inflammation in the body. Inflammation raises the risk of insulin resistance. Dr. Sylvia Christakos, a vitamin D expert and professor at Rutgers, New Jersey Medical School, points out that people with low levels of vitamin D are more likely to have impaired function of the pancreas, beta cells, and insulin resistance. Unfortunately, many people have suboptimal levels of vitamin D, and research shows that 93% of Americans do not get adequate 400 international units of vitamin D per day. and the recommendation for most healthy adults is 600 international units a day. But some doctors say that it's difficult to know for sure if you have low levels of vitamin D. Vitamin D deficiency is typically asymptomatic, and signs are few. Laboratory testing is usually needed. There are also doctors that warn that taking too much vitamin D can lead to vitamin D toxicity, which then causes too much calcium to be absorbed by the body. High calcium levels can cause problems such as kidney stones and constipation. Other than taking vitamin D supplements, there are various other ways to lower the risk of progressing to type 2 diabetes. You should also exercise regularly. According to the CDC, the goal is to get at least 150 minutes per week of moderate intensity physical activity. One way to do this is to try to fit in at least 20 to 25 minutes of activity per day. Also, on 2 or more days a week, include activities that work on all major muscle groups. Cut sugar and refined carbohydrates from your diet. Eating foods high in refined carbohydrates and sugar increases blood sugar and insulin levels, which may lead to diabetes over time. Examples of refined carbohydrates include white bread, potatoes, and many breakfast cereals. Also, limit sugar intake. Then choose complex carbohydrates such as vegetables, oatmeal, and whole grains. It is important to also watch your portions. Avoiding large portion sizes can help reduce insulin and blood sugar levels and decrease the risk of diabetes. Eating too much food at one time has been shown to cause higher blood sugar and insulin levels in people at risk of diabetes. Make sure to drink water. Drinking water instead of other beverages may help control blood sugar and insulin levels, thereby reducing the risk of diabetes. Sticking with water most of the time helps you avoid beverages that are high in sugar, preservatives, and other unneeded ingredients. Consuming plenty of fiber is beneficial for gut health and weight management, but it may also help prevent diabetes. Studies in people with prediabetes and older women with obesity show that this nutrient helps keep blood sugar and insulin levels low. Fiber can be divided in 2 broad categories: soluble, which absorbs water, and then insoluble, which does not. Soluble fiber and water form a gel in your digestive tract that slows down food absorption, leading to a more gradual rise in blood sugar. Thus, eating more soluble fiber may reduce fasting sugar and insulin levels. Insoluble fiber has also been linked to reductions in blood sugar levels. While many studies on fiber and diabetes use fiber supplements instead of high fiber foods, getting more fiber from foods is likely beneficial. So when it comes to preventing diabetes, there are many steps you can take. Eating the right foods and adopting other lifestyle behaviors that promote healthy blood sugar and insulin levels will give you the best chance of avoiding diabetes.